going to do that Mod Ani once more. Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai. Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai. Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai. Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Mod Ani lefanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai. Hello, KZOOMers.
Hey, everybody. We missed you.
I missed you, yeah, really. But it was lovely to be on retreat with some of you, and I am still in the glow of that, of being on retreat. And the theme for this week's KZOOM has to do with the ripening of love, which is really, like the subtitle might be, trusting the process.
Yeah.
And the process is ongoing. So the verse that we are in, Kitavo, describes the situation. His left hand beneath my head, his right arm embracing me. Daughters of Jerusalem, swear to me that you will not awaken love until it is ripe. Who is that rising from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I awakened you beneath the apple tree, in that same place where your mother conceived and gave you life. So there's this idea of the ripening and the awakening, which I think are they are kind of twins to each other. The ripening is our awakening, and sometimes it's hard to trust that process, and so we need to lean into it. So it's a little poem by Hafiz that Matthew Wright taught me that says, "How did the rose ever open its petals in blossom, revealing all its beauty to the world? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened." Otherwise, we remain too frightened. So we look to this ripening force of the light, of the spiritual light, of the to shine on us, and be able to kind of deal with the fear that comes from not trusting the process, really, because there is an unfolding and there is a process that's happening, but it's not the timing. It's not our timing. It's the divine timing of ripening. And I used to be the kind of gardener that would want to pull up the carrots every day to see if they were ready yet.
Ready yet?
So learning patience is I think one of the main practices of spiritual development, learning how to trust the process, learning to be patient, and learning to be in awe of the timing of things, and knowing that there is. So this verse that we're going to chant is actually, it happens another time in the song, and then it changes a little bit. The first time it says, "Im ta'iru, ve'im toraru, etava ad shetakpats." And this time it says, "Ma ta'iru, ma toraru." So I remember asking Eben Leader, a great rabbi, who I said, "What's the difference between im ta'iru and ma ta'iru?" And what he said was, when you say im ta'iru, you're not quite sure if it's going to happen. And when you say ma ta'iru, you're acknowledging that it's already happening. That awakening is already happening. And so by the end of the song, we have sort of built this kind of trust in the process of ripening and the process of awakening. So I'd like us to do this practice, and I think get in touch with the places of mistrust, the places that are impatient with the pace of transformation, whether it's in yourself or the world, and to use these words to kind of give us some confidence in the unfolding of life, even though it's not at the pace that we ordered.
As quick as we want it.
And I think about something. I've been sick a lot this summer, and I'm wanting to heal, and it's not always exactly the pace of healing that I would like. But I want to trust that it's, that I'm in it. I'm in the process. Yes. So just call up in your awareness those places of impatience or mistrust, and we will chant to that and bring a kind of a confidence in the unfurling of the petals of our blossom.
את האהבה עד שתקפץ. מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, את האהבה עד שתחפץ. מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, את האהבה עד שתחפץ. מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, את האהבה עד שתחפץ. מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, את האהבה עד שתחפץ. מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, מה תאירו ומה תאורו, את האהבה עד שתקפא.
So, what keeps us from trusting that divine timing is really our fear. And, when things are difficult, there's this kind of a way that it feels like it's always going to be like that. And we forget that we're in a process. I think about Rivka in her birthing process that says "Im kain lemazeh anochi," like she's so kind of for a moment lost in the pain of the birth that I think she kind of forgets that she's birthing something, and this whole world is birthing something, and we're all birthing something, and but when we're in the contraction, we just that's all we know. We're in that contraction, and it brings us into a place of fear. I was looking at this quote by Rilke that says, "Being an artist means not reckoning and counting, but ripening, like the tree which does not force its sap, and stands confident in the storms of spring, without fear that after them may come no summer." So that's so we want to be like that tree, which doesn't force the sap. It's like it's all happening in its time. And so I wanted to do this practice called a trust in you, and it zeroes in on the moment of our fear. That says Yom Ira, which I think of it as Yom Ira is the day that I fear, but I think it's the very moment that I fear. That's when I want to open up this place of trust, and so it helps sometimes to be able to know our own patterns of this is when I usually go to the fear place, and that's exactly when I want to do the trusting process, and so I so as I do this practice, I want to just sort of look at my own pattern of when I'm not feeling well, when I'm startled or upset by the world, and I tend to lose my trust in that place of startle, and so I want to send this to my future self, that the moment that I fear, I'll remember this feeling of trust, of trusting in God, trusting in the process, of knowing that I'm in a process at all, because sometimes I forget that I'm in that process, that this is a contraction in the process of birth. So zero in on that moment of fear and say, Yom Ira, Yom Ira, Yom Ira, Yom Ira, Yom Ira, Yom Ira, Yom Ira. Yom Ira Ani aylecha evtach Ani aylecha evtach אני אלך evtach אני אלך evtach
Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha
evtach
Yom Ira
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 Yom
Yom
Ira
Ira
Yom Ira
Yom Ira
Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha evtach Ani elecha
So let's spend a couple minutes just with your eyes closed and breathing into that place of trust. And the trust is not that it's going to work out exactly how I want it, but the trust is that no matter what, I am held. I am accompanied. I'm held, and I have within me these great untapped resources to deal with every stage of the process. So let's just rest into that for a moment, to rest into that sense of trust. And trust means even letting go of our attachment to exactly how we want it, letting go of our desire for security, affection, and control. Embracing this moment as it is, knowing ourselves in process. And that process is in the hands of that much greater kind of wisdom. Just notice in your body just what it feels like to put yourself in that place of trust. Let yourself relax the tight grip on our illusion of control. So I came across this teaching from Mark Nepo in the book of Awakening. He says it takes 6 million. Why did we pick that number? It takes 6 million grains of pollen to seed one peony. And salmon need a lifetime of swimming to find their way home. So we mustn't be alarmed or discouraged when it takes us years to find love, or years to understand our calling in life. Everything in nature is given some form of resilience by which it can rehearse finding its way. so that when it does, it is practiced and ready to seize its moment. This includes us. When things don't work out, when loves unexpectedly end or careers stop unfolding, it can be painful and sad, but refusing this larger picture keeps us from finding our resilience. So when things don't work out, when loves unexpectedly end or careers stop unfolding, it can be painful and sad. But refusing this larger picture keeps us from finding our resilience. And I thought there was some wisdom there. That there is this larger picture of like this process of healing, of awakening, of connecting, and we want to, I don't know, I think of it for me as holding the vision. Like that's my job. I hold the vision of what's possible. And then I meet each challenge along the way. But that holding of the vision of what's possible, I think it nourishes me from the inside. Yeah. And I've been doing this lately with the whole Israel, Gaza, Hezbollah, the whole matzav, the situation. I feel like, I don't know the answer here, but I can hold a vision. And my holding of the vision of what's possible, not knowing how you get there, but the holding of the vision keeps me from falling into despair and puts out into the world something beautiful. And knowing that we are on our way there. And it's a mystery. We're on our way, and it's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
But the sense of, as through the whole process of how we are held and how we can lean into that holding, I think is really important. Because if we don't feel held, then it's really hard to unfold.
It's just too scary.
Too scary. Yeah.
If I don't feel.
So to be held, and so these words that are from Psalm 147 that says, it calls on God that says, oh, healer to the brokenhearted. And we all have broken hearts, and especially we, and I think that's kind of the meaning of this practice of Elul, is to be able to acknowledge and be with our broken hearts, and let our broken hearts connect us with everyone else who has a broken heart, and in that connection, that the healing happens. We say, oh, healer to the brokenhearted. And what allows us to, to manage things, to move forward in our lives, is the sense of that you bind up our wounds. There's a place of woundedness in us all. Mm-hmm. But the binding of those wounds is the holding. So we are held through it, and when those wounds are held, then it's possible. Then healing is possible. So we want to kind of attune ourselves to that holding, to that to the quality of the loving container that we're in, even through all of the difficulties that both our world and each of us have to go through in being human. So this chant is kind of like an invocation, and it is an invocation in the healer of broken hearts, And it's acknowledging that the way that healing happens is through that sense of being held through it. And I think when we feel held, we can extend that to others and to hold others through whatever we have to go through. It's like the best thing we can do for each other also. So let's see if we can invoke that. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, umechabesh le'atzvotam, umechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, umechabesh le'atzvotam, umechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, umechabesh le'atzvotam, umechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, umechabesh le'atzvotam, umechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, umechabesh le'atzvotam, umechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, umechabesh le'atzvotam, umechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, umechabesh le'atzvotam, umechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, umechabesh le'atzvotam, umechabesh le'atzvotam.
Lish'vuray Lev Harofay Lish'vuray Lev Umechabesh le'atzvotam Umechabesh le'atzvotam Harofay Lish'vuray Lev Harofay Lish'vuray Lev Umekabesh le'atzvotam Umekabesh le'atzvotam.
And one more time.
Harofay Lish'vuray Lev Harofay Lish'vuray Lev Umechabesh le'atzvotam Umechabesh le'atzvotam.
So again, leaning into that sense of being held through whatever we need to go through, whatever it means to be human. To be held, and in that holding, this great healing process, this awakening, this ripening can happen in that atmosphere of love. So see if you can take a breath and sort of breathe a little bit deeper into that sense of trust, the awakening of love in its time, awakening of love in the world, awakening of love inside us, this ripening. And somehow it feels as if, like, knowing that we're in process. We can open our eyes and look around the KZOOM room and feel like, oh, we're all in process here.
But we're in process together. That's very comforting.
We're in
doing
process, and it, speaking to like just what forgiveness is. Forgiveness for me is also just realizing that we're all in process, and supporting that process through that, love you through the mistakes, through the flaws. That's part of this process of ripening. So we can kind of forgive each other for not being totally ripe yet.
In process.
In process. We're in process. There's this longer poem by Rumi that is called Ripened Fruit. But I just took a couple of stanzas from that to inspire us. And he says, "It is difficult to speak to your unripeness. You may be still in your springtime, unaware that autumn exists. This world is a tree to which we cling, we, the half-ripe fruit upon it. So we are clinging to this tree, we, the half-ripe fruit upon it. The immature fruit clings tightly to the branch because not yet ripe. It's unfit for the palace. When fruits become ripe, sweet and juicy, then, biting their lips, they loosen their hold. When the mouth has been sweetened by felicity, the kingdom of the world loses its appeal. To be tightly attached to the world is immaturity. As long as you're an embryo, all you think about is sipping blood. I had to read that a few times. So it's our, we're in process. We're the fruit that is still holding tight to the branch, and as we ripen, we loosen our hold. We let go of our desire, our attachment, security, affection, and control. We let go in order to embrace this moment as it is. But that holding on is part of that. It's part of the process, and it just speaks to the unripeness, the immaturity, the not yet enlightened, which is all of us, and so we're all in this process of ripening. And so I think, what I want to do is just give myself to the process, really,
right.
so that I can turn to that sun. The encouragement of light is what Hafiz calls it. It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. So we want to be that. So I chose one more practice that I call the God field, and it really speaks to that. What that process of, what are the fruits of that process of trust? And what it says is HaBotayach, which is those ones who trust, and to whatever extent you trust, chesed yisovavenu. This love is will surround you. So however much you can trust, that's how much you can kind of live in the atmosphere of love, to feel surrounded by loving kindness. And so it's a two-part round, and we want to make a connection between this risk that we take of loving, the risk that we take of trusting, and then be open to this possibility that we are surrounded by love. We are in, and I call it the God field. Like when we trust God, then we are living in the God field, which it means being surrounded with loving kindness. HaBotayach.
Adonai.
Did the rose ever open its petals and blossom, revealing all its beauty to the world? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. So we are trusting this process of ripening and not resisting it. We're entering into it. We're experiencing that and surrendering into that kind of sense of the divine timing of things. Not easy, but it's such a beautiful challenge the song gives us. And this idea of that when we do that, then the awakening happens. You know, to the, I guess it's a kind of an awakening to the larger reality. So I want to thank everybody for their
You have to
for
go.
their
Bye. We love you.
for your
Bye,
practice.
Susan and Mindy. Bye, Dave.
And I just want to say that I will stop the recording. This is the stop. This is stop.